What's up, guys? If you couldn't tell from the title, MILF Monday's back. Man, I love fights. That's where that comes from. So, let's go and talk about Saturday's UFC fights. So, starting off here on the first fight of the prelims. So, a bunch of these were canceled, but the first fight in the prelims, Modestas Bukaki? What? Either way. And Rafael Sekira. This fight was sick. So many fights just ended in round 1 or round 2. Like, I think it was until the main card where we finally got a decision fight. But anyways, this guy won by knockout in round 1. It was a really pretty good back and forth fight. Like, and even like Rafael, he was close a couple times too. Going into the second fight, I'm not gonna even pretend that I know how to say his name. I believe he had almost finished Eric in the end of the first round, and then just came out just swinging and going ham at the very beginning of the second, which is why he only had that 33-second knockout there. So in this fight, this one is a little bit interesting. So Nikolai, fake fighter, he fought Austin Vanderford, who of course was in the Bellator era, and he's also married to ex-UFC fighter Paige Van Zandt. But so this guy, they fought at a catch weight. This guy, fake fighter, I'll get to why I say that in a minute. He couldn't even make weight. So they had to do a catch weight. I think this whole thing was like a last minute thing. I think Austin got the call in like a 2-week notice or something like that. And like he has been signed with the UFC. He fought in Contender Series, and I think he lost that fight. So he didn't get into UFC that way, but he got the call, and he said he would have made the weight. But this guy, fake fighter, basically just begged for a catch weight. So anyways, they did it. And then Austin, he did good, and he was doing all right in the stand-up. And then once he got to the ground and was doing wrestling, that's where he shined the most. But also, same kind of situation in round 2. And then after he won, so what happened was he had fake fighter's arm, his other arm, like pinned between his body and the fence, so he couldn't really move it and get it out. And then so he only had the one arm to protect and couldn't really do anything else. Whereas Austin had essentially, if he wanted to, probably 2 hands, because he could have just locked up the body with his legs. And so he just kept swinging. And so there's really nothing that the other guy could do. He couldn't really defend, but he also couldn't really fight back. And so because of that, they called the fight. And what he did, this is why I'm calling him fake fighter, what he did, he got mad at the ref's call, at himself, I don't know what it was. And then instead of going over to shake Austin's hand at the end, he went and pushed him. Like, he was mad at him for fucking winning the fight. Like, what a fucking loser. Get out of here, bro. So not only did he not make weight, fake fighter, he also got mad at his opponent for winning the fight in the way that he did. It's not like he cheated or anything. There was no illegal shots or nothing. This guy's just a freaking bum. So get him out of the UFC. Like, go fight in the GFL or the fucking PFL that's failing all the time. Even though I like PFL fights too, but still. But yeah, anyway, fake fighter, fake guy, dickhead. I'm glad USA won that fight for that night. Fuck that guy. Moving on. Next one, we had Ricky Simon and Javid Basharat. This was a good fight as well. Again, another fight that did not go to decision. And this was a back and forth. So many of these fights were just back and forth the whole time. And Ricky Simon got it done. So that was cool. Mansour Abdul Malik and Nick Klein. I'm going to be honest, I kind of really don't remember this fight that much. If I had watched it, refresh my memory, I would know. But hey, it's still 8-0, so good for him. He's undefeated. Another one that didn't even make it to round 3. So let's see, when was two? So we are almost done with the prelims, and not one fight has made it to the 3rd round. This one, Andre Fili and Costa. So I wanted Fili to win this one, and it looked like there was moments where he probably could have, and then Costa just got the submission. He did a good job. I can't really be upset. He wasn't a dick about it like fake fighter down here. But yeah, so he got it done, round 1. And then moving on to the main prelim fight was Ayan Kutelaba and Ibo Aslan. And man, I thought Kutelaba was going to lose this fight, dude. Aslan was whooping on him, and then he pulled a submission out of his hat. But he was also doing some good stand-up work too. It looked like the hits were a little bit heavier and a little bit more precise for Aslan. So, but Kutelaba, he got it done. He took him to the ground, and then I believe it was what was it? Was it an arm triangle? Or he got some kind of submission on him. I forget which one it was, but it was a good submission, and it was also a surprising one because round 1 was just chaos from the beginning. It was nuts. Okay, moving into the main card. So Manifield and Walker. That was the first fight that A went to 3 rounds and B went to decision. I think we just had 6 fights that we just went over right now. So I mean, it kind of sucked that that's the way that the main card got started after such a fiery prelim card, but it was still a good fight. The thing that kind of sucked was that in round 3, they were both just kind of, they were so tired, but they were doing fouls, like almost immediately back to back. And then so the ref stepped in and was like, hey, if both of these were accidents. One of you does it again, we're losing points because this is getting ridiculous. He's like, I know you guys are tired, but essentially fucking suck it up. So it was a good fight. It wasn't anything like crazy or like, I wouldn't say it was a robbery or anything like that. So it was a good fight that went to decision. And then, okay, so Silva, and don't know how to say this guy's name. Man, this guy's badass. I think he's won a lot by knockouts. I recognize his face, but I don't recall his fights. I want to say he fought he's a featherweight. Maybe Bryce Mitchell, like a long time ago. I'm not too sure. But either way, man, that was a fun fight. And kind of before he had finished the fight on the knockout they did, he did like a quick boom boom, like a big 1-2. And then, but when he had done it, he was like giving the guy a high five and like smacking himself in the legs and like telling the crowd to pump up. But it's just like, bro, what are you doing? Just fight. Quit giving the other guy a high five. Just fight. And then sure enough, he did. And he knocked his ass out. The next fight after that, catchweight for Rob Font and Matsumoto. Good for Matsumoto for stepping in on such short notice. Dominic Cruz got hurt a couple weeks ago, which is who Rob Font was supposed to fight. And honestly, nothing against Dominic Cruz or Rob Font either. I don't think that fight would have been as exciting as this one was. Even though this one did go to decision, I don't think... So here's kind of a catch-22 on it. I think if Dominic Cruz fought, it would not have gone to decision, but it also would not have been as entertaining as what we got with Matsumoto and Font. So it was a good fight either way. Catch weight, obviously, because to make the weight at that point, kind of like the other guy, fake fighter. It's difficult. So I guess I can't give the other guy too much shit, but because he was a dickhead about losing, that's why I give him shit. So this one, co-main event. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was watching this at work, kind of fell asleep a little bit. So from what I saw from the first round, it wasn't a bad fight, but Brendan Allen seemed pretty disappointed in the result. But at the same time, I mean, you can't let it go to the judges. Like, that's just how it works. So from what I saw, it was cool, but it does kind of suck that on this main card, after a fiery prelim, that not one fight made it to round 3, you get 1, 2, 3 out of 5 fights go to decision. That sucks. But the good thing is that they were entertaining. If they're boring decision fights, that sucks. But they were entertaining. So, I mean, I also could eventually see them running it back someday as well. And on to the main event, Henry Cejudo, Song Yudong. So this one is weird because Henry said this is his last run for the title, so if he wins, he's going to keep going, which means if you lose, then you're not going to keep going. And he lost, but he lost only based on 3 out of 5 rounds. That's number 1. And number 2, he had to stop fighting because of a really bad eye poke. This eye poke went all the way into the minute 5 of rest time, or 4 or 5 of rest time. So he took the full time. I'm just wondering if he took the full time to then still say, no, I can't see, and see if Song Yudong will get a DQ so he technically gets the win. Or if he was just like, hey, in fairness to the opponent, in fairness to me, if I want to keep fighting or something like that, I probably shouldn't. So either way, he lost. It was a really bad eye poke. Song Yudong's whole fucking finger went in his eye. It was insane. So I think for this one, I mean, I don't think, nothing against Henry Cejudo is a much better fighter than I could ever be or will ever be because I am not a fighter. But I think his time has come. I think he retired in his prime when even he knows he shouldn't have, and he just got bored and came back, and ever since he's come back, he's been losing. But I think his time is done, but at the same time, he looked good. He didn't look like a 38-year-old fighter by any means. So I think he and Song Yudong should run it back. Maybe International Fight Week, or maybe at the end of the year. I think that is a fight that should be ran back. He looked good, but Song Yudong also looked really good. So, but he didn't look like a guy that was like, okay, bro, why are you fighting? He was good. It was fine. So, to have such a fun fight night and card end in this way in the main event, always freaking happen, or it doesn't always happen, but it happens often. And that sucks. But at the same time, at least it wasn't a boring fight that ended with like a nut shot or something like that. Like, it was a fun fight. It was a fun fight card. And I think they should run it back again. I think the co-main event should run it back again at some point, not necessarily right away. And then, so let's see. I don't know if Silva and Font have won yet, but that would be a fun fight. I don't know if they have yet, but that would be so much fun. Rob Font's a G, and then this Silva guy, he's coming up, man. He's gonna make it very high in this game, as long as he doesn't do stupid shit. But yeah, so that was UFC Seattle. Very fun card. Definitely better than the last pay-per-view, and better than most pay-per-views as well that we've had as of late. So let's go ahead and look at to what the next fight night's going to be, which is this upcoming weekend, March 3rd or 1st? When is it? Yes, March 1st. Okay. So on the prelims, so let's see how many of these fights get canceled within this week. So I'm actually going to come back to this video. I'm going to come back to this video on Thursday. And I'm going to see how many of these fights got canceled. So let's start that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see how many of them get canceled or opponent changed. Either way, starting us off is going to be Charles Johnson and Tamirov. I know Charles Johnson more, so I'm going to go with him for the win. And then you have Montana De La Rosa and Luana Carolina. Both women are great fighters. I'm going to go De La Rosa on this one. After that, you have Danny Silva and Lucas Almeida. I'll do Almeida. After that, we have Andrea Lee and JJ Aldrich. I think both these girls have lots of fights under their belt. I would say JJ Aldrich. And then after that, we have Douglas Silva de Andrade and John Castaneda. I think I'm going to go Castaneda. After that, we have Ricardo Ramos and Chipe Maricel. And that guy does not look like a featherweight. I'll go Ricardo Ramos. And then, look, fights have already been canceled. Oh, I forgot Steve Carell was supposed to fight on this fight. And Royval, Royval got hurt against Kape, but Kop's the main event still, I guess. So the first fight on the main card is going to be Danny Barlow and Sam Patterson. I'll go Danny Barlow. Featherweight, Haider Amil and William Gomez. I don't know either of these guys. I'll go Gomez. Heavyweight, sweet, the heavyweight fight. Austin Lane and Mario Pinto. I'll go Austin Lane. Nasrat Hakparast and Esteban Ribovic. I'll go Hakparast. Cody Brundage and Julian Marquez. Ooh, that'll be a fun fight. I like Julian Marquez, but I think Cody Brundage will get it done. And then the main event is going to be Kape and Azu. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. So hopefully it'll be for another fun fight card. I think because a lot of these people aren't as higher up in the name scale, like name recognition in the UFC. I think it adds a lot of fire to their fuel to their fire. So I think it's going to be another night where people just come out throwing haymakers, trying to do submissions and everything like that. I think it's going to be another really fun fight night. And this one is... Where are they doing this one? Oh, this one's going to be at the Apex. Kind of sucks when they're at the Apex because the crowd size is obviously not that big. And so there's like... The crowd, it feeds these fighters. It feeds these guys and these girls. And they not only do they try harder, they get more excited and everything else. So... It does kind of suck that it's from the Apex, but sometimes we get some good fights at the Apex, so we'll see. So anyways, that's this week's fight night, and then going into next week's fight night, again, I'm going to make another video on Thursday, seeing if any of these have been canceled or opponent changed or anything like that, and then maybe after doing some research, I might change my answers on some of these, so let's find out. Anyways, if you guys watched the UFC Fight Night, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy next week's as well. Have a great day.